So we are going to take this pair on the right as our working pair. These 3 pairs here will be our passives, and we are going to the left, and then we're going to follow the trail which is marked on here. I've already marked that between the pinholes. Okay, so we're just going to start off in cloth stitch, which, as you will remember, is cross, twist, cross, cross, twist, cross, cross, twist, cross. Okay, now you'll see these get all sorts of muddledy and all different lengths, but as you can see, they're also very easy just to pull back into shape. So that's all you need to do. Just try and make sure that these are all the same length and that you're pulling up your workers at every pinhole. So just hold on to those a little bit, pull those ones up. But now, because we're going to put a pin in, you need to twist your workers twice and pop your pin in there. And then just stroke your bobbins to get them in the right place. And then we're going to cloth stitch back again. I will just enlarge this a little bit for you. Okay, so we're just going to go in cloth stitch to the next pinhole. So we're now working to the right. Cross, twist, cross, cross, twist, cross, cross, twist, cross. Twist twice before the pin. Pop that pin in there. And then give everything a bit of a tuck. Okay, we're going to continue down until we get to this marking on the pricking here, which is on this row here. So we're just going to keep working in cloth stitch. We're twisting our workers, putting our pin in. Making sure you tension. And twist twice before every pin. Okay, so this is the row before. So we know on the next row we need to do something. But what do we need to do? Let's have a look. Let's pop in our pin and we'll just have a little look at the body and see what we're doing next. As you can see, I've also put markings on the outside so I know exactly which pin it is to stop on. Okay, so we've got our 3 pairs of passives. We have our cloth stitch. Make this a bit longer. Okay, so as you can see on the body there, we have done, I think my pencil, we've got our cloth stitch from here to here, and then we have an open body. Can you see that? It's not very clear against that, but it looks like it has holes in it. All we're doing on this particular decorative feature is we're cloth stitching the first pair, that side, cloth stitching that pair. Then we're twisting the workers. Then we're doing a cloth stitch twist and then a cloth stitch. And that's just repeated on each row. And that's what makes that little decorative vein down the middle. Rather than just twisting the workers, this is another way of making a vein. So let's see how that works in practice. Let's put my little bug up there. Okay. These are all the same length. And that one's coming undone. You will find sometimes with the slightly larger threads that they do come undone or they'll unravel a little bit. Just take your time. It's not unusual. Nothing is happening out of the ordinary. Okay, so cloth stitch the first one. Tension that. And then we're twisting both the passive and the worker once. And then we're doing a cloth stitch twist. So cross, twist, cross, twist. And then we're doing a cloth stitch on the end. And we're twisting our worker twice. And then when you put your pin in and just spread your workers out a little bit, you should see that it just makes a very small decorative little stitch in the middle there. So we're going to do exactly the same again. So we're doing cloth stitch, twisting the workers. This pair is already twisted, so you don't need to twist it anymore. Cloth stitch and twist, cross twist, and then cloth stitch to the end. Twist your workers twice and pop in your pin. And when you tension your workers, as you can see, you get a little line of decorative holes to make a vein. Now we're going to do that all the way through until we get to this one here, which is the end of our vein, or the end of our cross twist, and I will meet you there. Okay, so once you have done your vein and you have reached the mark on your pricking, or the mark on the outside, whichever you find easier, we're now going back into cloth stitch because we're coming down to do the little head. So you've done that bit, and now we're going to do this bit. So just carry on in cloth stitch. You'll notice it gets narrow and then it'll open up again. So let's keep going. In cloth stitch. So this is quite a quick little pattern to work. You don't need many pairs. You can do your body in half stitch if you prefer, but I would suggest maybe adding a couple more pairs to make it more obvious. And if you are going to do half stitch, possibly make sure you do a cloth stitch and twist edging to keep it all nice and contained. Otherwise the body will curl and you'll lose that definition. So there's his little neck. I'm going to keep going into his head. Popping in our pins, making sure we twist twice before each pin. Pop your little pin in there. And then as you'll see, there's a marking coming up. So it's on the next row. So we'll go across here. Pop our pin in. Sorry, I've got one more row. Do beg your pardon. One more row. Okay. Alright, now we've got a marking on the next row. Okay, so this is to make his little eyes. So I don't know if you can see, but he has two little eyes. And it's made in exactly the same way as what we've done before, but with a cloth stitch instead of a cloth stitch and twist. So how does that work? So we do cloth stitch through the first pair. That's fine. And then we twist our workers. We're not twisting the passives. And we're working a cloth stitch. And then we're twisting our workers. And then we're doing a cloth stitch. So all you're doing is crossing your workers, not the passives on this one, just to make a tiny little gap for his little eyes. And popping in your pin. It's quite difficult to see until you've done the next couple of rows because it gets a bit caught up. But making his little eyes. So let's carry on until we finish the head. Cloth stitch across, pop your pin in. Not a couple more rows, I think. Maybe 3 rows. Okay, let me just wind these bobbins up. They're getting a bit long. Okay, and back to cross stitch, cross stitch, cross stitch. When you're doing the head, because it narrows and then expands and then comes back in again, don't pull your workers too hard. Like, don't pull them away from the pins. I know it's difficult and you do need some tension on there, but try not to pull it so it goes straight. Try and keep that curve in there so it fills out the head shape. And I think this is the last. There we go. This is the last one. But that middle one, make sure you pull that one quite tightly. Okay, all right. Also, now you've done the last row. Now we're going to do the little antenna. So just pop a pin between your 2 pairs on that side and 2 pairs on that side. So a plait, which are these long bits here, is literally just a half stitch over and over and over and over. There's nothing complicated about it, but it is quite a good method of finishing this particular little animal. So you need 2 pairs for each plait, and if you put the pin in there, you're able to tension it quite nicely. It just gives you something to pull against. Okay, so I'll do the one with the worker first, and we're going to just twist that passive. So they both have twists on them. Lengthen them a little bit. So we've got lots of thread. And then we're just going to do half stitch, which is cross, twist, tension, cross, twist, tension, cross, twist, tension. And that's all we're doing, all the way down. Lots and lots of half stitches until you reach whatever length it is you want your antenna to be. And when you've done that, just pop a pin in. And put those to one side. And you're going to do exactly the same on these 2. These are the passives. So just make them a little bit longer. Okay. Now again, we're just going to do cross, twist, tension, cross, twist, tension, cross, twist, tension, all the way down, and try and get them roughly the same length. About there. Okay, and now all you need to do is cut off your bobbins and tie an overhand knot. So make sure you have a long length of thread to tie your knot with, and you can cut quite close to your bobbins. So literally cutting them there. Oops, oh sorry. Okay, and then take that pin out now. So you can see where the end of your plait is. Just tie a single knot and just move it up to where you need it to be. Okay, it's gone a little bit long, that's all right, no problem. Okay, we're going to do the same on this one. Cut it really close. And do our overhand knot. The most difficult bit is trying to get it all the same length. But that's not too bad. There we go. And then once you have those there, just cut them really close to the knot. And now you can take your pins out. So let's go ahead and do that. So all I'm doing is just holding down the lace and taking out the pins at the same time. And there we have our little bug. I don't know if you can see his little eyes. Maybe if I do that, you see his little eyes there. And then the vein down the body. And that's butterfly body. And we're ready to move on to the wings.